Carnival of Souls arouses such emotion that the management has been forced to state positively no refunds. Carnival of Souls is the shocker of all time, guaranteed to sweep you into a new dimension of picture making. You can't afford to miss Carnival of Souls.
Hello, my name is Kevin. I am the Dapper Man, and today I'm going to be talking about an early independent horror film. It was made in 1962 and is produced and directed by Herc Harvey. That film is called Carnival of Souls. The Carnival of Souls is a very different horror film, at least for me, because it's more of a psychological horror film. In fact, I'll just get to the synopsis right now, so we'll just go ahead and get that laid out. This film is very interesting because it takes no time into showing you what the movie is. There's no credits, no nothing. It just starts you right off in the very immediate start, and it even starts off with just someone talking. It doesn't take time to build up, it just shows you and throws you right into the film. As you can see, this film starts right off into the action, and as Mary's friends accept a drag race challenge to some delinquent looking punks. But the race doesn't end very well as the girl's car gets knocked off the bridge and into the river. Police, townsfolk, and the punks that started the race search and investigate the scene. Mary then emerges onto land soaked, confused, and in shock at what just happened. The others never make it out. But somehow Mary does not quite fit in around the area or around the people, so she wants a fresh new start. She goes searching and she heads to Utah where she sees this ghost man almost everywhere she goes. It doesn't take her long until she finds a job as a church organist, but the strange ghostly man still haunts her. Eventually she visits the doctor about this, who doesn't seem to be very too much help. But all the while this happens, there's a creepy man from down the hall who stalks her, trying to do, well, you know what. I mean, this man is creepy as they come. Everywhere he goes, you can't help but seeing that creepy smile and face. It's like a face that only a mother could love. During all this, she is drawn by some invisible power to go to an abandoned amusement park. Amusement parks of today is a lot different because when you see amusement parks today, they're more like Universal Studios, Walt Disney World, and everything about the thrills, the rides, roller coasters, and so forth. Back then, there were rides, but these rides were more like slides, walking through a tunnel, and I can't help it, this movie reminds me a lot like the silent film by Harold Lloyd called Speedy, and I even did a podcast review. Just check it out, I have the links down below for that. Anyhow, amongst all of this, Mary can't seem to escape the strange man, the music from the organ, or the amusement park. So what does this all mean? Well, you're just going to have to check this film out for yourself because it is very effective in its creepiness, the eerie organ music, and that of just the atmosphere. This movie is a lot more in atmosphere than it is on story. Even through the silent areas of the movie where there's nothing that's playing but just her voice and her walking through the streets, it has a very creepy effect and it's very effective, and I enjoy this movie for what it is. As we follow Mary into trying to find out more about what's happening and why she's so strangely drawn to playing the church organ music and going to the amusement park along with this creepy man who is played by the director himself. You just can't help but have this want and desire to find out more with her. It's too bad that none of the cast or the director went further into Hollywood, but you could say he did exactly what he enjoyed doing, and he did it with the budget he had. This film is, like I said, low budget, and it has its flaws. It has the edit cuts. It has the mouth that doesn't quite sync up with their voice. And it's just very odd. But I believe that was a very effective, unintentional choice. And it works for this movie. What's even more interesting is the pavilion that was built on, I think it's the east coast of the Salt Lake City. It has a strange history, and this has burned down many times. This is the second or third time. And that building that we see onto the film has been burnt down. It's built up, and I believe it's called Saltaire. It has peculiar history. I believe it's worth checking out. I know it's on YouTube, and it's also in some books and so forth. But if you're watching this in Utah, or you have passed by it, or you live around it, let me know, because I like to see this next time I go to Utah. Now, when I first saw this movie, this was part of a 50 movie horror pack. This was one of those when movies were very extremely dirt cheap and you could find all these classic horrors just about anywhere. You still can today, but for some reason it felt like there was a lot more as a child growing up. And I purchased my first 50 movie horror pack, and this movie was part of it. I always thought it was a bit odd, but it was a bit strange, and it always creeped me out. It still creeps me out to this day, because there's something about it that's just done just right. Now, you may be able to still find this movie through dollar stores, Dollar Trees, Walmart, Targets, whatever you find these dollar cheap movies. Here is one copy I have, and this one is by Alpha Video. Yeah, Alpha Video. It's one of the earlier releases onto DVD. It's actually one of the better editions on the DVD. I've seen multiple editions, but usually the editions is pretty rubbish, and the sound quality and the video quality is not very good, so this is the best they come onto DVD. But there is that Criterion edition that I very much thoroughly enjoy, and I have this one, and it has a load of features. It has a great commentary, and it has a great, fantastic transfer. It's really remastered very well, and it takes away most of the grain that's in it from the noise and from the picture, and I very much enjoy it. I was shocked when this was released on Criterion because I was like, why would they release that? And I'm so thankful they are. And they have done it. There was one more release, and that was by Legend Films, and that was back in 2009 when they were doing a lot of colorization for black and white movies that people would not watch in black and white until they're in color. If you don't watch black and white movies, I can understand that and I respect that, but I really believe you're doing yourself a disservice by not watching this movie in black and white for the original intent, because it is much more effective in its creepiness towards it. And like I said, this is a film I would highly recommend even owning, because I've owned this on Criterion. I even have it on DVD, just for in case someone doesn't have a Blu-ray player. If you want to know what is inside the movie for yourself, here is what's inside of it. I believe it was available for all audiences, so there was no limit to audiences at its time of release. And that is my review for the movie, Carnival of Souls. There was a remake for this, and that remake was a movie that I don't believe a single soul cared for it, and I actually asked somebody and they told me to not watch that movie, stay clear away from it, so I'm going to stay clear away from that movie because I've already watched enough bad movies and I don't want to watch any more. And with that, I will leave you to have a very lovely day. I hope to see you to the next review, and until then, take care. Cheers.